It has been an unceremoniously long time since the last time I recorded a podcast episode, and that is because life has me by my clothing. Impilo ingbambe ngamawashing. And I was never ready to be in the position that I'm at right now. But something in me is telling me to record regardless of how I feel, regardless of whether or not I want to. So I'm going to begin this episode by saying, welcome back to your favorite podcast, Here Lies Etsu, with your host, Etsu herself, who is currently dealing with the slowest season of her life. It has been rejection letter after rejection letter, despite her finding herself as an intern at a production house. She still has not received a single assignment for her role. She hasn't received compensation or a stipend. She's still daily at home trying to make do with being a young unemployed adult who has an internship. How does that work? And the crazy thing about this part of my life is that it doesn't just boil down to my position in society. It's also my position at home, my position amongst my peers, just my general standing or lack of it. I'm realizing that money truly is power. Money buys you into the right conversations. Nasekhaya makudinga ukukhuluma ngezinto ongakhuluma nawe. Mawufuna ukuya endaweni uyakwazi ukuya endaweni, you experience life, uyakwazi uku-add to your podcast. And the lack of that is where I find myself at right now. I can tell that I am slowly losing it. Not going insane. I am losing the position that I upholded in these various spaces that I talked about. Because, number one, when I was in school, I was getting an education and having the prospect of being a contributing member of society, right? As a family member, I was making people proud. Return on investment was possible because, I'm going to school. I'm going to pay them back. I'm going to, as someone I hold dearly to me says, they didn't say that. They said, I'm going to pay back my black tax. Pay back my black tax. Yo, that's such a hard word. Just a hard thing to say. As a young person, it was fulfilling to have something to fill my days. Going to school, getting an education, doing what I love. Whereas this year it's just been a still time. And a lot of people would say, but with all this time, you could have been recording podcast episodes. I'm sorry, I've been trying to survive and make sense of what to do next. Like I said, I'm an intern, but nothing's been happening. My car hasn't been working, so I've been homebound. And the little times I get to be outside, I feel how much lack I am in right now. I feel it. I know it. I'm aware of it. And I simply just do not like it. So forgive me if I come off as all over the place, because it feels like that. As quiet as things are, everything's all over the place. And I'm getting angry. I think what's making me angry is knowing that I don't deserve this. But by saying that, I'm saying a certain type of person deserves this, which is really unfair. But where I come from with this is saying I played things by the book. I lived life by the book. I was a decent person. But I'm starting to see that being a decent person isn't enough to get what you want in this life. You have to work for what you want in this life. Things won't magically fall into your lap. But the thing that I'm saying is, why does it fall into other people's laps and not mine? I'm really in a state where I'm really comparing myself with the next person, and I know how harmful that is. I know that I shouldn't, but I know that there are people who haven't even had to face half the struggles I have in life and have way better lives. Why does mine have to be filled with strife and struggle and uncomfortable emotions, uncomfortable feeling, not feeling like I belong here, and just people making me feel like I don't belong here or I'm not worthy of being alive? Like, if I told you the number of times that I've seen a look of disdain, disgust, or someone feeling superior when they see me, it would actually bring some people to tears. Because am I what I can do for the next person? Am I what I do for you? Am I my achievements? Am I, And it's like I didn't choose to be here. To people, I can tell that there's a lot of projections going on. There are people who had certain expectations for me by now, and there are people who are comparing themselves to how they'd be living if they were me, or what they were doing when they were my age. And it's really not fair, because I don't go about life caring or even thinking about people to that extent. And when I'm met with these thoughts, something in me is telling me that maybe there's something wrong with me. Because when you realize a pattern in the way people respond to you, and the common denominator is you, clearly there's something wrong with you. But I'm saying no. Maybe there's something not wrong with me, there's something wrong with the system. Because when I was able to do X, Y, Z, people were different, were treating me in a very different manner. But my chat is, why is it that people get to treat you differently when you're going through something, and when you respond to that, you're now the bad person? You're expected to treat people the same way you were treating them before. It really is not making sense to me. So I'm aware my thoughts are all over the place, but I just wanted, as usual, to use this platform as a place to rant so that the next person doesn't feel alone. But it seems as though we live in a currency-based society where your worth is determined by how much you can do for the next person. I'm going to say that again for the people in the back. Your worth is determined by how much you can do for the next person. So when you take that out of the equation, you're nothing. And I'm simply going to let myself be nothing to so many people, because I want to remind them of that once I'm out of the slump. Because that's the thing that people don't realize, is that the slumps, the quiet moments, the moments of strife and tension aren't forever. And I've made it out of so many moments like this, and I will make it out of this one again. But I want everyone who thought that this was the end for me to remember this. I simply couldn't care less about returning energy or doing this or that. Like, I'm letting go of being who I was before, because it's not working for me. And again, my thoughts are not making sense on this episode. But this is another friendly Etu rant. It's not to say I'm going to go out of my way to disappoint people and do bad things. I'm just going to let their expectations of me disappear. Right? Because I'm not a person who keeps score, but lately I'm finding myself to be that. I find myself keeping score because it's like, why am I doing X, Y, Z for people who aren't appreciative of me? And when I can't do these things, I'm of no use. Right? So I simply wish to disappear. I want to disappear. I want to level up and come back as who I think and I know I am. And unfortunately, with a space like this, having a podcast, having YouTube channels, currently having a blog, that is not good. That is like just not showing up. Meanwhile, I'm doing the inner work, and I genuinely don't think it's possible to do spiritual and inner work before an audience. I really don't think I can do that. I don't think I've gotten to a point where I'm comfortable, right? Just sharing parts of me when I'm that vulnerable, when I'm at my most clearest, at my most transparent. And that's not to say I put up an act, but this is kind of like how I am when I'm going through these quiet moments. I'm very, I don't have a filter, and I don't care how things land or what's going on. I do care about what's going on, but I mean, like, do you hear the way that I'm talking right now? I don't think I've ever shared parts of me or my voice during a moment like this of extreme uncertainty, doubt, and chaos. Because at the end of the day, guys, let's be honest, there's not... Maybe someone who doesn't like me is listening to this podcast, unfortunately for them. And sharing things like this is making them happy, for example. But I'm not going to be delusional and start using the terms like, oh, I have haters or whatever. But I'm just creating a scenario that I don't want to make someone who doesn't like me happy by knowing that I'm going through a bad moment in life. So, and again, the vulnerability of when these moments come, I do resort to being more spiritual and feeding my soul and grounding myself. And I've forgotten where I'm going with this. Where am I going with this? I think it's just, I think I'm finding excuses to say, oh guys, the reason that I wasn't recording for so long is because I've been going through so many things, and right now I want to come back, but I'm really scared to come back because I'm really still working on myself, and I don't want people to see me working on myself because I want to show up as the most perfect version of myself, and that boils down to my people-pleasing ways, and right now I'm realizing that people-pleasing is going to be the death of me, so in turn I'm not going to be people-pleasing, and I don't care how that's going to land to certain people, but that's what I need right now. I think that's a summary of what this podcast episode was really about. But yeah, I would like to say I am back. There's so much I want to talk about. I'm really grateful for the people that still listen to this podcast. This one is for you. So I want us to unpack, and guys, don't be scared. I almost said don't be shared. Don't be scared to share your experiences, to drop in a voice note, to drop in a message, and to just say, hey, XYZ, I'd like to really share the things you people have to say. Ooh, you people. Tando. You people? You people? I'm sorry, I didn't mean it like that. I'm sorry. Please don't cancel me. But yeah, that was today's podcast episode. I might not even leave this up for so long. I think I'm gonna wake up tomorrow regretting recording this and being like, oh my gosh, I told him that I'm going through a hard time. But we shall see. Thank you for sticking around. And love, light, harmony, peace be within you all. Bye.